Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Laurie Smith on Blog Talk Radio, and it's January 13th, 5:30 in the morning, Calgary, Alberta time, and I'm just waking up, having a coffee, bright and early, and I hope you're all well. This is blogtalkradio.com live internet streaming radio broadcast, and you're welcome to join me on the show if you have a topic-related information you'd like to share with the listeners, and or if you just want to tell your story. And this is a 15-minute show, so it's very quick and brief, but it's just a good way to keep in touch, Monday through Friday, and you're more than welcome to phone in. I have a guest call-in number, and that is 917-889-3736. And I also have this chat room up, and you're welcome to sit in there and just be comfortable. And I typed up some information. I usually do put the resources that I'm reading from in there, just in case you need that information, and maybe sometimes a few others just to get people some more information. So, I just welcome you all to the show, and I'm glad to be here. Today's topic is very important. I haven't really talked about child sexual abuse since I started doing Blog Talk Radio, and I have so much information. I have found so much information regarding child sexual abuse, and I thought we'd just sort of begin talking about the issue and just the beginning stages of really delving into it. It's a real problem. It needs to be talked about. So many children are sexually abused, and in so many ways, it's just, it's an epidemic. And until we start talking about it and bringing it out from underneath the carpet and out from behind closed doors, it's really just going to continue to go. It's going to take public education and public awareness to realize that this is epidemic, and it's going on all around the world, and it needs to stop. So I'm glad that you can join me. And I'm reading, actually, I found this information on the Help Guide. And the Help Guide, you can find that by just typing into your browser. It's http://helpguide.org. And I was looking, actually pulled this article. I was actually reading from it yesterday, and it's called Child Abuse and Neglect, Recognizing and Preventing Child Abuse. And we went through all the different, we actually covered a bit from this article. I believe it was yesterday or maybe the day before, but I wanted to continue on because it's a very good article. It has lots of great information. And so I wanted to just really, delve into child sexual abuse. Because these children's innocence is being stolen, their lives are being stolen, and it's still going on as we speak, and really needs to stop. So I figured the more we talk about it, the better. And so this is an article I found. It's actually a little document I pulled off of the helpguide.org, and it's child sexual abuse, a hidden type of abuse. So I'll just start reading from this article. Child sexual abuse is an especially complicated form of abuse because of its layers of guilt and shame. It's important to recognize that sexual abuse doesn't always involve body contact. Exposing a child to sexual situations or material is sexually abusive, whether or not touching is involved. While news stories of sexual predators are scary, what is even more frightening is that sexual abuse usually occurs at the hands of someone the child knows and should be able to trust, most often close relatives. And contrary to what many believe, it's not just girls who are at risk. Boys and girls both suffer from sexual abuse. In fact, sexual abuse of boys may be underreported due to shame and stigma. And I've seen lots and lots of information regarding this issue on the web, and as I'm looking for information for the show, there's just so many people that have been affected by child sexual abuse. And I tell you, if you need help, make sure you reach out. The resources, as much as there needs to be more resources and better resources, obviously we can always do things better. But there are groups that do care, and there's groups of people that are willing to help you get through what you've been through, whether you're a girl or whether you were abused, child sexual abuse as a child, whether you're a girl or a boy. There's lots of resources. Make sure you do not suffer in silence, right? Because it's not your fault. It wasn't your fault. And you do deserve to have a good life. So make sure that you hang in there and make sure that you get the proper professional help. And, because I always say this on my show, I'm not a counselor and I can't give any legal advice. I'm just one child abuse survivor to another. And that's the name of the show, actually. And I just want to share what I find on the web as I'm searching out my own healing, right? So you want to make sure you get the proper professional help, by obtaining a therapist or just belonging to a group. I always like the group idea better because I have a trust issues. So, I like to think that there's a safety in numbers. So, you can find something that works for you, and you can have a good life. So you hang in there. Now I'm going to keep reading. The problem of shame and guilt in child sexual abuse. Aside from the physical damage that sexual abuse can cause, the emotional component is powerful and far-reaching. Sexually abused children are tormented by shame and guilt. They may feel that they are responsible for the abuse or somehow brought it upon themselves. This can lead to self-loathing and sexual problems as they grow older, often either excessive promiscuity or an inability to have intimate relations, right? The shame of sexual abuse makes it very difficult for children to come forward. They may worry that others won't believe them, will be angry with them, or that it will split their family apart. Because of these difficulties, false accusations of sexual abuse are not common, so if a child confides in you, take him or her seriously. Don't turn a blind eye. In any case, whether it's child sexual abuse or any abuse, don't turn a blind eye. Make sure you get the help that child needs. If a child tells you, that they're being abused, don't just brush it off. Make sure you do, because you could save their life. That's how important this is, right? Warning signs of child abuse and neglect. Now, this article goes on and talks about the warning signs of child abuse and neglect, and specifically dealing with child sexual abuse and risk factors for child abuse and neglect. And let's see what else here. There's breaking the cycle of abuse, recognizing abusive behavior in yourself, helping an abused or neglected child, and reporting child abuse and neglect. There's lots of good information on this article. And warning signs of child abuse and neglect. I'll just read this part right here. The earlier child abuse is caught, the better the chance of recovery and appropriate treatment for the child. Child abuse is not always obvious. By learning some of the common warning signs of child abuse and neglect, you can catch the problem as early as possible and get both the child and the abuser the help that they need. Of course, just because you see a warning sign doesn't automatically mean a child is being abused. It's important to dig deeper, looking for a pattern of abusive behavior and warning signs if you notice something off, right? Warning signs of emotional abuse in children is excessively withdrawn, fearful, or anxious about doing something wrong, shows extremes in behavior, extremely compliant or extremely demanding, extremely passive or extremely aggressive, doesn't seem to be attached to the parent or caregiver, and acts either inappropriately adult or inappropriately infantile, right? Warning signs of physical abuse in children, frequent injuries or unexplained bruises, welts, or cuts, is always watchful and on alert as if waiting for something bad to happen. Injuries appear to have a pattern, such as marks from a hand or belt, shies away from touch, flinches at sudden movements, or seems afraid to go home, wears inappropriate clothing to cover up injuries, such as long-sleeve shirts on hot days. Warning signs of neglect in children. Clothes are ill-fitting, filthy, or inappropriate for the weather. Hygiene is consistently bad. Unbathed, matted, and unwashed hair, noticeable body odor, untreated illnesses and physical injuries. Is frequently unsupervised or left alone or allowed to play in unsafe situations and environments. Is frequently late or missing from school, right? These are just really good warning signs. Warning signs of sexual abuse in children. Trouble walking or sitting. Displays knowledge or interest in sexual acts inappropriate to his or her age, or even seductive behavior. Makes strong efforts to avoid a specific person without an obvious reason. Doesn't want to change clothes in front of others or participate in physical activities. An STD or pregnancy, especially under the age of 14, and runs away from home. And these are just some of the warning signs. There's other, I've seen lots of resources on the web that do cover the warning signs. I know Dreamcatchers for Abused Children. I'm a volunteer with them, Dreamcatchers for Abused Children, and they have a great website and a great resource. It's a free download. You can go right onto their website just by typing into your browser http dreamcatchersforabusedchildren.com, and you can go on there. It's a free PDF download about, it's called the Child Book the Child Abuse Handbook put together by Donna Cashier and Sandra Potter. Lots of information there about warning signs and all kinds of good stuff. I like that one too. We probably will go into that at some point. They're going to have their own Blog Talk Radio show, and they might cover some of that themselves. You want to check that out. That's coming up the middle of January. So just in a few days here, you'll be looking for their blogtalkradio.com broadcast for Dreamcatchers for Abused Children. I know I'm going to be tuning in for sure. Yeah, there's just so much good information here, and I would just hope that you would just reach out and get some help. You know, if you think a child's being abused, I'll just touch on this morning. You know, be sure and report it to the proper authorities, right? If don't allow a child to. If you think a child's being abused, you could save their life by making the appropriate phone call. It says reporting child abuse and neglect. If you suspect a child is being abused, it's critical to get them the help he or she needs. Reporting child abuse seems so official. Many people are reluctant to get involved in other families' lives. Understanding some of the myths behind reporting may help put your mind at ease if you need to report child abuse. Here's some of the things that they list here. I don't want to interfere in someone else's family. That's what some people might say, right? The effects of child abuse are lifelong, affecting future relationships, self-esteem, and sadly, putting even more children at risk of abuse as the cycle continues, right? Help break the cycle of child abuse. That's why I say stand up and look around you. I know that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm very aware of what's going on around me at all times. And I don't, you know, if you have lots of children, like you have children in school and stuff, they have friends, make sure you're looking out for them, right? Because it's so important. If no one in their home is looking out for them and they're being abused in their home, then you could be a lifeline to that child. And that's why I say, if you even suspect child abuse, even the slightest inkling, make the proper phone calls because you could save their life, right? What if I break up someone's home? This is a question people might ask themselves, right? The priority in child protection services is keeping children in the home. A child abuse report does not mean a child is automatically removed from the home, unless the child is clearly in danger. Support such as parenting classes, anger management, or other resources may be offered first to parents if safe for the child. And I mean, I'd like to think that that's the case. And but, you know, as long as you're looking out for them, because every day in the news there's reports of children being killed every day because no one took the time or even noticed that this child was being abused. So that's why we really need to be sure. This is about the only way it's ever going to stop, is if people like you and me step up to the plate to stop it, right? Just stop all abuse, you know, domestic violence, and just you want to make sure that you do tell these people you're looking out for them, you know, and that you're there for them. They will know it was me who called. This is something that people always think. Reporting is anonymous. In most states, you do not have to give your name when you report child abuse. The child abuser cannot find out who made the report of child abuse. And it won't make a difference what I have to say. This is what some people think. If you have a gut feeling that something is wrong, it is better to be safe than sorry. Even if you don't see the whole picture, others may have noticed as well, and a pattern can help identify child abuse that might have otherwise slipped through the cracks. So that's how important it is. You could save a child's life, so make sure you do make the phone call. And if you're suffering, you know, from adult child abuse survivor issues, please make sure you do reach out. We've only got about, you know, a minute left on the show, and I just wanted to read, excuse me, I just want to read a few resources that I have. The P. Luna Foundation, the Petra Luna Foundation. This is a voice for the children and a mission, you know, war on abuse, right? They are, the mission of the P. Luna Foundation fights child abuse by creating innovative programs to educate, aid law enforcement, and build awareness about the growing epidemic of child abuse and exploitation. That's the P. Luna Foundation, www.plunafoundation.com. Make sure you go on her website. I just love her website, and I love what she's doing, and I love her, and she's awesome. Make sure you do check her website out. TheSilverbraid.org, the Silverbraid Survivors of Sexual Exploitation Network. This is Ann Bissell's, she's the founder. They have safe homes for adults and minors, databases, you know, hooking up to like 25 cities down in the U.S., Rescue and Restore the Victims of Human Trafficking campaign. The Silverbraid.org is networks within within the Silverbraid organization for everyone. Domestic violence, child sexual assault, child sexual abuse, just everything. please make sure you do visit their website. I'm a member. And also, Dream Catchers for Abused Children. Check their website out. There is www.healthyplace.com, America's Mental Health Channel. That's some really good information on there. I really thought that it was good information. I hope you can join me tonight. We have Michelle Rosenthal, and she'll be on from www.healmyptsd.com. So I hope you can join us 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Take care, everyone.